Growing shrinkflation fears. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to talk about shrinkflation. It's finally appearing on news.com.au. I remember reading about it some time ago, particularly occurring in the US, where the sizes of goods get smaller. The price remains the same, but what you get for your money changes. And that was to do with just the cost of oil and how it was affecting all of the packaging for a lot of consumer goods and shipping. We'll have to see. This. I suspect this is going to be a big part of 2022, 2023 moving forward. We'll notice it, guys, when you go and shopping. Your shopping bills may remain the same, but what you bring home will be much less. So let's have a look at this. So, consumer frustration set to peak as supermarket shrinkflation rises. Consumers may need to adjust their expectations ahead of visits to retailers in coming months, as an annoying trend sets to affect more of Australia's favourite products. Smith's Chips, Kellogg's Cereal and Cadbury have already fallen victim to the trend. It's not really fallen victim, which is popularly regarded as shrinkflation, where a product's quantity is reduced but the price stays the same. Well, they've got rising costs, guys. When you've got a business that is rising costs, and you need to pass it on to your consumers, you can either up the price or you can shrink what you're putting in the products, even by a small amount, to try and recoup some of those costs. The sneaky tactic looks set to be utilized by manufacturers in the coming 12 to 18 months, like never before, as they compete with rising fuel costs, labor shortages, and global supply chain issues. Increasing cost pressures on manufacturers have left them with two options, according to QUT retail expert Dr. Gary Mortimer. They could pass the costs on to retailers, which would subsequently pass them on to consumers, or reduce product quantities slightly and continue to charge the same. The difference for consumers was often so marginal they may never notice, Dr. Mortimer said, which was typically the goal of manufacturers. He argued that while some people may see the tactic as deceitful, there was an alternative perspective that suggested it actually helped ease strain on households overall. Retailers are very cognizant that families are doing it tough. Fuel and rent prices are going up, and the cost of electricity. The last thing families want is for food prices to go up, he said. Well, they already are. We're already noticing that. By giving them a little less, maybe 25 or 50 grams, you can still essentially get the majority of the product while not paying any extra. And he's got a point. You can, for the manufacturer, that small amount of difference per product can add up significantly, so that can offset some of their rising costs. For you, you may not notice it. You may not notice it when you're shopping. It's annoying. The small differences would have minimal effect on consumers, but huge flow-on effects for manufacturers. If you extrapolate that small amount of products across tens of thousands, if not millions of units, it actually holds those costs in line and doesn't have a massive impact on the retailer's margins or the retailer's costs, he said. Consumers, in a way, should consider themselves lucky that some manufacturers have taken the shrinkflation route rather than upped their prices, which could increase weekly grocery spends by between 3 and 5%. Supply chain costs were pushing the prices of beef, dairy, cereals, and dry goods up, increasing the strain on households already grappling with with growing cost of living. We're going to see it in the next 12 to 18 months. Is slightly inflated food and grocery prices somewhere between 3 and 5%, Dr. Mortimer said. Shrinkflation is probably one strategy that we will see becoming more readily applied, so it doesn't have a significant hit on the household bottom dollar. This trend has been particularly noticeable because during periods when the cost of raw materials like grain, cocoa, and coffee beans increase. Okay, so let's look at some of the comments that people are saying here. Here's Peter. Original Tim Tams had 14 biscuits. How many do they have now? They widened the plastic divides to accept less biscuits but kept the original packaging. Okay, so how many do they have now? I've got no idea. I haven't bought Tim Tam in years. I remember when I was working at the Woolies in Surfers Paradise, we'd have all the Japanese tourists, and they would stack up entire trolleys of these Tim Tams to send back home. I swear some of them had to be selling them. That and beef jerky, all as presents. So Swiss Pete. By keeping shelves low, stock justifies the higher prices, as the assumption is that it will always be that tomorrow. They may be completely empty due to shortages, even if it may not be real. Okay, so Swiss is, don't know what he's talking about there. Reese, companies are inclined to do both. I just read an article about Cadbury dropping an influencer because they didn't align with Cadbury's views or values. Now Cadbury are going to start giving us less. Yeah, well, you shouldn't eat chocolate anyway, okay? Who cares? Chocolate isn't, or Cadbury chocolate isn't healthy. It's full of seed oils in it. It's all full of sugar. Eat chocolate. Eat nothing below 95%. That's what I say with your, pure chocolate. Ted, if you keep shrinking the size, then eventually you'll get to the stage where it becomes pointless to buy anymore. As I remember, Cadbury used to be 250 grams blocks. Now it's 160. They'll reduce another 50 grams. You're basically just buying a chocolate bar. Dave, been happening to beer for quite some time. Started out $3.75, went to $3.45, now a lot of $3.30. Same price for carton. Over 1 liter difference per carton between $3.75 and $3.30. Well, notice all these things people are bitching about aren't healthy anyway, so I'm not feeling sorry for them. But then again, last time I went out to a pub was some time ago, and I nearly fell over with how much it costs just to get a beer. Kermit, apart from costing consumers more in the long run, this also results in more packaging going to landfill. Real Robo, the prices aren't staying the same, they're rising when packaging shrinks. Once the supply issues are solved, will prices go down? Yeah, they will. They will. As long as there's competition in the market, they will adjust, but you won't notice it. The doctor putting a positive spin on this sly, deceitful price gouging tactic proves his university degree majored in turd polishing. Fact finder. Well, what do you think university degrees are, mate? Okay, maybe you got to get one to see. But here's the thing, everyone. These businesses' costs are going up. You can't deny it. Okay, everyone knows it. What do you think is going to happen? You want the businesses to, lefties want businesses to make no money, and they want everything to be state-owned and controlled anyway, so there's no point even talking to them. But normal people understand that you don't want a business to disappear. You don't want it to be destroyed. You want it to be there for future generations because it creates jobs and opportunities. I may not be a fan of the products they're selling, but I'm a fan of the businesses running. They help people buy homes and raise families. So, Snowball. Can't speak about other calls locations, but my local is now selling their 4-star mints, 1 kilo pack, 800 grams at $13 a kilo. Increased to $16.25. 20% size reduction actually equates to 25%. What? If it's per kilo, the size doesn't matter anyway. If your recipe calls for 1 kilo mints, you now need to buy 2 packs to make up the difference. Tell me again how shrinkflation is helpful to the average consumer. Why are you going to calls to buy your mints? Go to Aldi, go to a butcher, buy it in bulk. On a positive note, I put poppadoms in my pan and they expanded. Oh, there you go. So, guys, a few comments there. People are frustrated. Let's have a talk. It's going to happen. We're getting inflation, everyone. Are the masses just surprised? Is that what we're seeing? The normies are shocked. They're starting to learn how things work. It's been so long since we've had any real inflation now. Oh, well, it's going to be an interesting couple of years. What do you reckon? And what are you doing to save money? Let us know your hints and tips down below. Hey, you can always go OMAD. Only have 1 meal a day. That'll save you money right there. You don't need any of the beer. You don't need any of the chocolate. Those are all luxury items. There you go. Boom. Save money right there. Anyway, well, let's see. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions below. If you want to help out, you can join us on YouTube. You sign up for SelfWealth or Stake or use our affiliate links. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And I'll put a few other videos there if you're interested. See you next time.